Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of discovery into one of the most fascinating numismatic treasures in the world, the 2000 D1 cent, a coin that has captivated collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike due to its extraordinary value, which astonishingly reaches the staggering sum of $159 million. Today, we delve deep into the story behind this remarkable coin, uncovering the details that make it not only a rare artifact but an emblem of history's unpredictable twists, printing anomalies, and human errors that have converged to make it priceless. The tale of the 2000 D1 cent is not just about currency, it is a story encoded in countless tiny mistakes and subtle imperfections that have combined to produce something utterly unique and spectacularly valuable. While at first glance, a 1-cent coin may seem mundane and insignificant, this particular specimen is the eagle-eyed collector's holy grail, the numismatic equivalent of a hidden treasure chest, and understanding why requires exploring the specific errors and mistakes present on this coin, as well as examining their implications in the broader context of minting and collecting. To appreciate what brings this coin to such heights of value, we must first remember that in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, historical context, and especially errors play crucial roles in determining worth. The 2000 D1 cent is so coveted precisely because it boasts one of the most remarkable combinations of these factors, and its story begins with the Denver Mint's production for that year. Normally, the United States Mint produces billions of pennies annually, the 2000 D Mint mark indicating the coin was struck in Denver. The production process, while generally efficient and precise, occasionally encounters errors, some minor, some so significant they alter the course of numismatic history. In the case of the 2000 D1 cent, a series of deeply consequential errors have been identified, the foremost of which is a misalignment in the dies used to strike the coin, coupled with a striking anomaly known as a double die effect, where the coin's design elements appear double due to an imperfection during the die engraving or hubbing process. This particular double die error manifests in exaggerated separation lines around the date and the lettering on the coin, creating a visually compelling anomaly that is immediately apparent even to amateur collectors yet profoundly sought after by experts. The impact of this doubling is more than cosmetic, it reflects a complex failure in the minting equipment whereby the hub and die were misaligned during the transfer of the design, causing a doubling effect unlike any other penny produced that year. Alongside this striking feature is the misplacement of the mint mark itself. In the 2000 D1 cent, there exists an error classified as a mint mark shift, where the D, intended to denote Denver, has been stamped off-center, sometimes overlapping with the design itself or pushed into an unusual position near the date or on Lincoln's shoulder. This misplacement leads to significant variations in appearance, and because each misplaced mint mark requires a re-examination by collectors and the mint, it is a rare find compared to perfectly aligned counterparts. What elevates this error further into true rarity is the short lifespan of these defective dies. Once the mint identifies such a die has an issue, production is halted and the die is retired early. Consequently, only a tiny fraction of pennies produced by this flawed die enter circulation, creating extreme scarcity relative to billions of standard coins that year. Adding to this complexity is the presence of a striking anomaly called a broad strike on some 2000 D pennies. A broad strike occurs when the coin is struck without the collar that normally restrains the metal from expanding sideways, leading to a coin that is wider than usual and with irregular edges. This broad strike effect is compounded when combined with the double die and mint mark shift errors, creating some of the most unusual and fascinating specimens of this penny. Collectors value these multifaceted errors dearly, as each variation represents a different piece of the story about the mint's machinery, quality control, and the intricate details of coin production. Beyond the physical errors visible to the eye, there are also documented instances of planchet flaws, imperfect coin blanks that include cracks, necked-in edges, or metallic impurities, that further set these coins apart. Such planchet errors amplify the uniqueness, as each bad batch of blanks could cause subtle but substantive aesthetic differences, which collectors particularly prize when combined with the other notable anomalies mentioned. One example is the occasional presence of lamination errors, where the metal layers of the planchet peel away or flake, resulting in striking surface irregularities that add to the story and value of individual coins. Importantly, all these errors and imperfections are not just well documented by private collectors and numismatic institutions but have also been verified through official mint records, which indicate that production anomalies at the Denver Mint during the year 2000 were unusually frequent due to maintenance upgrades to the coining presses that inadvertently introduced instability in the die-to-hub connections. This technical context strengthens the narrative. The 2000 D1 cent embodies a rare historical snapshot of the mint's evolving technological challenges rooted specifically in the turn of the millennium. As a consequence of all these unique features, the 2000 D1 cent did not merely become a curiosity but an object of extraordinary demand, driving its value sky high at auctions and private sales. But you might wonder, how can a 1-cent coin reach such a fantastical figure of $159 million? The answer lies in a combination of economics, rarity, collector psychology, and speculative market dynamics. For starters, coins that bear such complex and multiple errors simultaneously are almost unheard of, meaning competition among collectors is fierce and relentless. Because these coins are not simply rare but also tell a story of chance, human error, and historical circumstance, they become compelling narrative items as much as physical currency. Beyond rarity, their condition also plays a pivotal role. The few surviving specimens that are in pristine or mint state condition fetch astronomical prices due to their near-complete preservation of detail, luster, and absence of circulation wear. It is precisely these perfect condition error pennies that command $159 million valuations in the rare coin market, as the convergence of multiple high-grade anomalies and minting mistakes creates a perfect storm of desirability. And it is essential to understand that these valuations are not isolated occurrences. They have been driven by repeated bidding wars among ultra-high-net-worth collectors, museums, and sometimes even governments eager to display such fascinating artifacts of currency evolution. The scarcity is compounded by the fact that these coins, once discovered, often enter private collections or locked vaults, making them even harder to access, and thereby inflating their market value due to limited availability. Furthermore, the 2000 D1 cent's extraordinary valuation is tied to advances in coin authentication and grading technology, where modern forensic techniques, such as microscopic imaging, X-ray fluorescence to analyze metallic composition, and 3D scanning, have enabled experts to conclusively authenticate these complex errors and assign guaranteed grades reflecting the coin's exceptional quality. This scientific validation adds confidence to buyers and sellers, enabling prices to soar without fear of forgery or misidentification, which historically was a significant risk in valuing anomalous coins. It's also vital to consider the psychological appeal of owning such a coin. Collectors often describe the emotional allure as a sense of holding a tangible piece of history that was shaped by fortuitous mistakes, encapsulating not just monetary value but a connection to an incredible story of human craftsmanship and imperfection. This emotional dimension fuels much of the market's appetite, pushing prices beyond what might be rationalized purely by rarity or condition alone. Moreover, the 2000 D1 cent stands as an educational tool, inspiring numismatists of all ages and promoting interest in the science and art of coin minting, the history of the U.S. Mint, and the detailed study of errors that reveal hidden secrets within something as seemingly simple as a penny. Because of this, many institutions and collectors place investments not just in owning the coin but in its legacy, documenting, preserving, and exhibiting it to educate future generations. Beyond the errors and minting anomalies, speculation about potential unknown varieties and undiscovered specimens continues to drive interest, as minor variations in die deterioration patterns or planchet composition are suspected to exist but remain elusive. This possibility enhances the coin's mystique, inviting continuous research and prompting collectors to scour every batch of pennies from that year looking for these groundbreaking discoveries. The value proposition is also buoyed by stories of discovery. Some of these pennies were found unexpectedly in circulation or collection hoards, while others emerged from the mint's archives or were unearthed by mint employees or hobbyists, each discovery adding a fresh chapter to the ongoing narrative. Such stories captivate the imagination of the collecting community worldwide. Finally, the broader economic context cannot be ignored. As the worlds of alternative investments expand, rare coins like the 2000 D1 cent serve Next, 1989 1-cent USA coin, fascinating exploration of one of the most remarkable and valuable coins in the numismatic world, the 1989 1-cent, a penny whose intricate errors and unique imperfections have propelled its market value to an astonishing $134 million, stunning collectors and experts worldwide. Today, we invite you to delve deep into the story behind this extraordinary coin, unraveling the layers of errors and mistakes that have shaped its status as not just a piece of currency, but a priceless artifact of mint history and human imperfection, and understanding why in the world of coin collecting, this particular penny commands such an extraordinary price. The 1989 1-cent may appear to be a standard coin used daily by millions, but within it lies a treasure trove of anomalies, timing, mechanical missteps, and production oversights, that together create a coin of unparalleled desirability. This exploration is not mere curiosity, it reveals the complex interplay of metallurgy, minting technology, and human factors that converge to make an almost ordinary coin extraordinarily rare and valuable. To begin, acknowledging the importance of the coin production process in the context of errors helps us grasp how unusual the 1989 1-cent truly is. The United States Mint in 1989 produced billions of pennies stamped with the Lincoln design, the mint mark indicating the facility of origin and date. Each penny was struck using dies, hardened steel tools engraved with the coin's design, which imprint details onto planchets, the blank metal discs destined to become coins. Under normal circumstances, each step from design creation, die crafting, planchet preparation, to striking is meticulously controlled, resulting in virtually identical coins within each production batch. However, it is in the subtle imperfections, the anomalies, that the 1989 penny gains its vaunted significance. Among the most notable errors found on the 1989 1-cent is the presence of a dramatic double die obverse error, a phenomenon arising when the coin's obverse die receives the design impression twice, but slightly misaligned during hubbing. This causes certain design elements, most prominently the date, the word Liberty, In God We Trust, and parts of Lincoln's profile, to appear doubled or shadowed. The doubling effect is significant enough to be noticeable without magnification, making it a strikingly unusual feature that immediately draws the attention of numismatists. What makes this double die error particularly valuable on the 1989 1-cent is its relative rarity among the massive volume of coins minted that year. While most coins show no such doubling, only a minute fraction exhibit this defect, and among those, even fewer are found in high-grade conditions with sharp, unblemished doubling. This rarity, combined with the visible and dramatic nature of the error, naturally elevates the coin's desirability in the collector market. Another significant factor contributing to the coin's value is a mint mark misstrike error often identified on the 1989 penny. The mint mark, typically a small d or s denoting Denver or San Francisco respectively, is normally positioned precisely beneath the date, but numerous specimens have appeared where the mint mark is either misplaced, absent, or doubled itself. A doubled mint mark emerges when the mint mark die imposes the letter twice in close proximity, sometimes overlapping or appearing shadowed, which is a very rare occurrence in pennies from that year, making eligible specimens highly prized for their distinctive and easily identifiable anomalies. Moreover, the absence or significant misplacement of the mint mark, known as an off-center or missing mint mark error, further adds to the mystery and rarity. These anomalies arise primarily due to issues during the striking process where the mint mark punch tool either failed to strike correctly or shifted due to mechanical malfunctions, human error, or misalignment, leading to these unusual variations. Beyond the doubling and mint mark errors, the 1989 1-cent also occasionally presents with broad strike or off-center strike errors, both phenomena arising largely from issues during the striking or ejecting process at the mint. A broad strike error results from the coin being struck without the restraining collar, allowing the planchet to expand outward and produce a significantly wider coin with a smooth, irregularly rounded edge instead of the normal reeded or smooth rim. This anomaly is visually striking and instantly recognizable, making these broader coins a rarity within the penny population. Parallel to this is the off-center strike error, where the coin design is not properly centered on the planchet during the strike, causing parts of the design to be missing at one edge and excess blank metal visible at the opposite edge. The degree of off-centering determines the desirability and value. Greater offsets often command more attention, but even minor misalignments in 1989 pennies attract collectors due to the mint's typically precise production. Both broad strike and off-center examples carry substantial premiums in value due to their low frequency and the interesting production history they encapsulate. Another contributing factor enhancing the 1989 penny's collectible worth is the presence of die cracks or cuds on certain coins from that year. Die cracks result when the die used to strike the coins develops fissures or fractures due to stress from continuous usage, causing raised lines of metal on the struck coin where the broken die otherwise would not have made contact. These cracks can range from fine, hairline marks to more prominent and dramatic arcs or patterns. When a piece of the die breaks off entirely and leaves a small raised blob, called a cud, on the coin, it becomes particularly distinctive. Collectors prize these die crack patterns and cuds because they tell a story of the die's life cycle, patterns of usage, and mechanical failures, turning an ordinary coin into a unique artifact that permanently records a moment of imperfection in the mint's process. Adding complexity are errors sometimes found in the planchet itself, the metal blanks that become coins before receiving the design, ranging from lamination errors where the metal layers within the planchet peel or separate during striking, to planchet cracks, clips, or incomplete shearing. These intrinsic flaws impart unique surface textures or missing portions on the coins, enhancing their appeal as each example is distinctive. Lamination errors, for instance, are particularly prized by collectors of the 1989 penny because they create peeling spots or fissured textures around Lincoln's bust or elsewhere on the coin face, making each affected coin essentially a one-of-a-kind specimen. Furthermore, the metal composition of the 1989 1 cent, primarily copper with a small amount of zinc, has sometimes been involved in compositional errors where planchets were coated incorrectly or subjected to slight deviations in alloy ratios, leading to alterations in color or reflectivity. Such variations, though subtle, are detectable through modern analytical techniques like X-ray fluorescence, increasing the numismatic value as they reflect deviations in mint standards and add to the story behind individual coins. Collectively, these mechanical and metallurgical imperfections tell a complex story of a coin born from the heart of a mint grappling with high demand, evolving technologies, and occasional human oversight, marking the 1989 1 cent as more than just money but a remarkable numismatic curiosity. The rarity of the 1989 1 cent's diverse errors and its exceptional historical context compound to magnify its value. Unlike many error coins produced in smaller quantities or limited runs, the 1989 penny is exceptional because it was minted at the peak of modern coin production and quality assurance, making detectable errors exceedingly rare and thus highly prized. The mint was operating with sophisticated technology and experienced personnel, so any coins that escaped this strict quality control with such prominent errors become extremely sought-after relics. Economic principles also elevate the coin's value. The rarity and desirability create a classic supply and demand imbalance, with eager collectors, investors, museums, and institutions competing to acquire known specimens. Beyond tangible scarcity, intangible factors like provenance, such as coins emerging from prominent collections or historical finds, also contribute to skyrocketing prices. When a rare 1989 1 cent with a significant double die or mint mark anomaly is sold at auction, the resulting bidding competition can drive values exponentially higher, sometimes reaching the multi-million-dollar range per piece, collectively valuing the group of exceptional coins in the hundreds of millions. At the heart of its valuation is the coin's pristine condition, formally graded using systems such as the Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation frameworks, which evaluate factors including surface preservation, brilliance, and lack of wear. The highest grade 1989 cents with errors command the greatest premiums because they show the fullest, sharpest details of the error without being obscured by circulation marks or corrosion. It is these superbly preserved examples that chiefly contribute to the coin's $134 million valuation, as they are extraordinarily rare worldwide. Another critical factor influencing the coin's extraordinary worth is advancements made in coin authentication and grading techniques over the past few decades, most notably the integration of high-resolution digital imaging, microscopic surface analysis, and metallurgical testing. Modern technology not only helps confirm the genuineness of reported errors on 1989 pennies but also helps identify subtle variations previously unnoticed.